Hey team, welcome back. This video is Gear and Enchantments, Cognitive Function Stack Part 2. All gear need enchantments. So technically, we already talked about this. This is your cognitive function stack. It's how you balance your temperament, and there's more to you than just one side. But now it's time to learn how your gear is enchanted, the specifics of it. And all heroes have been condensed into one word: enchantments. Poor guys, right? So your scout enchantments, or your perceiving functions, technically, the perceiving functions give a bonus to your character's stats, not to damage. So we're going to look at all the different characters here, and I've condensed it into one word that kind of gives a good symbol of what they do. So the Dwarf Warrior, or extroverted sensing function, has been condensed into the suffix of presence, which means you gain tenacity. So let's look at the keys to the Dwarf Warrior first. They live in the present moment. They're bored by structure and routine because it inhibits them from taking in more sensory aspects if they have to stop and not do what they want to do. They want to fully experience the senses. They are hands-on, very resourceful, and they act on their impulses. Okay, so of presence, gain tenacity would mean that they stick with what is in the outer world. Okay, they can't get knocked out of it because they're so focused on what it is. Next up is the Elf Warrior. Introverted sensing, the suffix of experience. So they gain more experience. Keys to the Elf Warrior: they take snapshots or impressions of the past. So they're very memory focused. Not memory in the way that most people think, but reliving their past experiences, which are their memories. They have this deep database of sensory data that they can go back into and reflect on and compare to the present. They have a very good attention to details. They like stability and order, and they're focused and realistic as a hero. But then condensed of experience, gain more experience. This means just gain more from your experiences in a sensory way. Okay, these are just symbols to represent it. Dwarf Hunter, extroverted intuition, the suffix of exploration, gain movement speed. So some keys to the Dwarf Hunter: they want to know what if. What if I do this? What if I do this? What if this happens? What if we all have 3 arms? What's going to happen? Explorers, they're innovative. They are novelty focused. They want new ideas, new abstract connections and patterns, and flexibility. So they're always exploring out into the world. And I took this as gain movement speed mentally. They're looking for a breadth of connections, many quick different hits of different connections. Not one deep one like the Elf Hunter would do. Elf Hunter, introverted intuition, of vision, gain increased vision. Keys to the Elf Hunter: they want to know why, the deep meaning behind all of these things that are happening. They're trackers for intellectual clarity. So they're looking at all these patterns and trying to cut away the ones that are not true and find the one that actually is. And if it doesn't exist, they'll figure it out by making these new realizations of the connections, which is inventive. They want accurate interpretations of patterns, so they're going into their past, they're looking at all these patterns, and they're thinking about how people think about things, and eventually they get this clear, accurate interpretation. But it's abstract, and they are visionaries. So gain increased vision means that it lets them have these visions and these kind of understandings of what will happen, these omens or whatever you want to call it. And they can see things from different perspectives to do that. Next up, the caster enchantments. These are your judging functions. So judging functions are the ones that make decisions, right? Make judgments, evaluations. And the scout functions that we just talked about, the perceiving ones, they gain information, learn, take in information, try to understand the world, but don't actually make decisions. They can set things up nicely and pass it on to the judging functions, but they don't make the decisions themselves. So, judging functions give a bonus to damage. Just keep that in mind. Dwarf mages, extroverted thinking, of effectiveness. Attacks are more effective. So some keys to the Dwarf Mage: they make new effective systems, different ways to attack a situation and get these good results and effective results. And they make it happen, so they want to take action. They want external proof and validation. They want these measurable results that everybody can understand, because there are numbers and empirical evidence and stuff involved. It's not speculative or anything like that. They value competence. If one gear in the system is not working right, then that gear is not good and they need to replace it. And that can kind of be used with people as well. Not in a bad way, but it's just another way of thinking about it. If you're not doing what you need to do, maybe somebody else should do it. Put things in their place. They move the environment and organize the environment around. Dwarf mages are geomancers, right? So they're physically moving their environment and putting it in places that makes sense to get to a result. So of effectiveness, attacks are more effective. How they attack a situation, how they approach a situation, is looking for the effective route to get these measurable, understandable results. The elf mage, the introverted thinking cognitive function, uses of accuracy, and attacks are more accurate. So keys to the elf mage: they make holistic models of complex situations. So they take in all this data and they try to piece it together like a machine or a puzzle to have this model in their head of how it works. Then when they see something similar, they look at it and they're like, oh, okay, well, I know how that works because I already know how this other thing works. Or if they don't know how it works, they'll explore. They'll try to figure it out because it's important. They need to know how things technically work in the world. They improve systems. So elves, they don't want to make new systems, make new things. That's what dwarves do, right? Dwarves take from the world and put things together into a new way. But elf mages do it a little differently. They go through their past and kind of refine it. They make sense of data. You can give them a lot of data. Just data dump and tell them all these facts and information and they can handle it. I certainly cannot. They search for logical accuracy. They want to find the most accurate understanding, the perfect, true, real understanding or word or phrase to explain something. And that's the technical understanding too. So of accuracy, attacks are more accurate. How they attack a situation, how they approach a situation, is they want to understand everything technically about it, and then they use that to make their judgments and act. So they don't miss. They want the real, true idea to come out. Dwarf Healers, extroverted feeling. The suffix is of harmony. Attacks heal allies. So some keys to the Dwarf Healer. Group harmony is prized over the self. So anything that brings people together is better than making one person, one individual feel good and feel authentic to themselves. Avoids conflict. So you can't have group harmony if you have inner conflict. Just doesn't fit. Express emotions outward. So they are very emotive. Their emotions in the outer world. That's what extroverted feeling is. So they're very likely to express those emotions and get them out so that they can see them and analyze them, even if they're from themselves. They are sensitive to the needs of others, making everybody harmonious and feel good and meet their needs means that you need to understand how these other people are feeling. And you need to see the different nuances. And they are unconcerned with objective logic. Usually. These are stereotypes too, but if you're looking at the feelings of other people, then you can't look at the logic of the situation and make an effective choice. You need to make a harmonious choice. So, of harmony attacks heal allies. They attack a situation, they approach a situation with everybody's health and needs in mind and in heart. Elf Healer, introverted feeling. The suffix is of authenticity. So attacks do true damage. Keys to the Elf Healer. Deep connections to moral convictions. So their feelings are inside themselves, right? More than the stereotypical other people, right? They're taking all these emotions and experiences inside and ruminating on them, thinking about them, and re-feeling them. And when you do that, you do it a lot, you have mastery time in it, then you start making these strong connections to how you feel about certain things. Money is bad, for example. And they have this strong emotional connection to it. Not all elf healers think that money is bad. It's just an example. Controls own emotional expression. They have a lot of inner emotions and different tones and shades of it, and it's often their choice to express those or not, because they can just stop it and think about it and kind of reframe it. Whereas a dwarf healer is more likely to express those emotions first because they're extroverted, and then understand the emotion. Internal values are most important. So how I feel about something is more important than how other people feel about it, if I'm an elf healer, which I am. Inner harmony, also doing what feels correct within ethics and stuff to myself is the only thing that matters. As long as it's not hurting other people, of course. So inner harmony is more important than the group harmony, basically. And self-actualization, making sure that the individual lives to their full potential, is a very important thing to elf healers. So of authenticity, attacks do true damage. You attack a situation with what feels true and good in your heart and within your emotions. So your quest, it takes time and practice, again, but it is worth it to understand all of this. And I will be referring to these suffixes that we just learned about for the rest of the videos. So if it wasn't all clear, you might want to rewatch it. And if it was clear, then Good for you. Yeah, good job. Gear and enchantments, cognitive function stack part 2. All gear need enchantments. As always, thank you very much for watching. Good luck, have fun.